Hi queers, welcome and welcome back to the channel. My name is Corey and I'm real queer. Today we are watching episode 4 of Heated Rivalry. Last episode we got Scott Hunter and Kip storyline, and y'all, the discourse online was crazy. I saw a lot of people saying that the episode was boring, they hated it, it was annoying. Here's my opinion. This is just me. I think we needed it. I think that it is interesting to watch another hockey player deal with the idea of keeping someone that they enjoy hidden. I think that that's very nuanced. It did a great job of showing that there is someone close to Shane who's having a similar dilemma. Kip's dad was a sweetheart. Supportive parents was an interesting thing to see. Kip's best friend telling Scott, like, hey, he doesn't deserve to be hidden. He deserves to be happy, and so do you. You know, this is a shitty spot for both of you to be in. I don't know. It just did so much for me. It gave me what I didn't know that I needed. And it just kind of sucks that people hated it because it offers so much context. And from what I understand, I think in the series, the first book is about Scott and Kip. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, of course, but I don't know. People who hated that episode, I don't understand. I don't understand that. I think that Shane and Ilya's storyline is interesting and fun to watch and horny and hot and all that stuff. But I also think Scott and Kip's was equally interesting to watch. And it ended on a hopeful note, which is great. Hopefully they find their way back to each other and can be happy together. I don't understand the hate or the disdain for that episode. That was actually surprising to see that a lot of people didn't like it. But whatever. That's that. But yeah, so we had a bit of a detour with Scott and Kip. We saw that storyline. It also adds a little bit of context too, because even like the episode 2, after Shane won Rookie of the Year, he was talking to Scott, and Scott had said like, oh, where's your boy, Ilya or Rosenoff or whatever. He's like, what the fuck is not my boy? And then Scott was like, oh, okay. And at first you see it to be like, oh, Scott's gonna, it's kind of off-putting, but then you're like, oh, Scott had this whole thing with Kip, so maybe he thinks that Shane's like low-key kind of homophobic, and that's sort of like a weird thing of like, oh, God, it would be terrible if I was out, because even in the episode where Shane, Scott, and that other dude were in that cafe, and the other dude was like, oh, that gay guy, oh, just imagine living your life like that. Both Shane and Scott had a weird look, and now we know why. It was so important for the context and for the nuance of it all to know how people, anyway, other people's interpretations of this show is not my problem or my business or my job to change. I'm gonna focus on me. Yeah, so that episode was really, really cute, really good. I loved everybody, and I loved Kip and his friends. I loved Scott sort of going back to the smoothie shop or the same thing. It was just a cute episode, and it did it for me. That's all I'll say about that. So this is episode 4. We're gonna really get into this. I really want to see sort of where we go from episode 2. At the end of the year, Shane and Ilya had this sort of like back and forth, this furtive thing as always, where Shane was trying to talk to Ilya about like, hey, what's going on? And of course Ilya has his whole problem with his brother, always begging for money. His dad, who seems to be maybe in the early stages of dementia or some cognitive decline. He's dealing with that. He's dealing with like these weird sort of expectations from his dad, who's like, you represent Russia. So when you like lose, sorry, I'm looking for the episode title. When you lose, Russia like suffers, baby. Just like this really obsessive and intense focus on you not only playing hockey and doing what you love, but like it meaning so much to so many other people, right? With Shane, with him being the first Asian Canadian person to have those huge endorsements and to be like Rookie of the Year. It's just a lot of pressure, and his momager is constantly on him being like, this is gonna be big, and he's just like, great, but I'm also dealing with this dude that I like who's like I can't pin down. So there's all that. I'm hoping this episode continues that story and we just get more Shane and Ilya. And now when we see Scott, which is what I was thinking about yesterday too. Now when we see Scott Hunter, it'll be less of like, oh God, he's gonna like find out and it's gonna be crazy. It's more like, oh, if he finds out, Shane will have an ally. Do you know what I mean? Which is another reason episode 3 was so important. Anyway, I digress no longer. This is Heated Rivalry, episode 4, Rose. Let's watch. 2014. Oh, I love it. So come on, it's Feist, a Canadian artist. This is my favorite Feist song, by the way. Not the glasses. They're like, how do we make this man as hot as possible? Oh. Okay, so it's the balancing act of all these things.
For the first time in 16 years, the Montreal Metros are hoisting the MLH Cup.
Okay, we're blowing through time. Ilya does give chaotic bisexual, you know what I mean? Interesting, they're both looking for texts from each other, but they're not gonna send the text. Oh! Oh, 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 oh! Oh, I see, I knew it. Oh. Interesting.
Sorry, Shane, can we? Yeah, sorry.
Interesting. This is interesting. They're it feels like they're missing each other more and more in between when they're playing each other or when they're in the same like city. Interesting. They're growing closer, it feels like. Which means there's conflict right around the corner.
Hayden, what great news. Hayden, I'm so happy for you.
No, I mean a fourth kid.
4 kids. Okay, damn. Like a kid a year, seems like.
Jackie is his friend, right?
Hayden.
What? Okay, come on, man. Why not? Can I just show you your Insta? Fine.
Okay, hold on. I will talk about that at the end. Straight people doing this.
Tell your dad to leave me alone.
Thank you.
Hollander's Fortress of Solitude. Here in eastern Quebec is the house he had built on a private...
He's just like watching Shade's content.
С кем ты сейчас встречаешься? То есть ничего серьезного? Даже не с Джейн? Уже несколько лет переписываетесь, я думала, может...
Oh, I guess it has been years at this point, right?
Ничего серьезного. Вообще.
They've been meeting up, texting each other for 4 years now. It's something, right? What is it, you know?
So, Lily's just a buddy?
What?
Yeah, chill out, man. I know you text some girl named Lily.
I don't.
Okay, go get laid, weirdo.
Yeah, you're the only one being weird, Shane. This crazy fortress.
You think we need to talk? No, after.
This show is crazy. Like they be fucking.
Stay.
Cause they both be running.
You know this guy, Bryce?
Yeah, from playing against him and not wanting to fight him.
Interesting that there's this space in between them, right? Like the literal space between them.
There is a girl I like here really much, Svetlana. She knows everything about hockey.
So she's like your girlfriend?
I knew it. Shane gives bottom energy, and if you know, you know.
You like them? Yeah. Girls. I like girls.
Yeah, no shit.
But I also like you. Not this person, of course.
Of course not, I'm boring.
But you have a good mouth.
Oh. I think that we can take from this that Ilya is bisexual, right? Or at least bisexual, pan, fluid, whatever you want to call it. So I'm wondering, like, if after this phone call he's going to start being sort of like antagonistic and crazy. That's usually what happens with this boy.
Он там с тобой? Ты один? Полина там?
Yeah, he's there's some dementia or some cognitive stuff going on.
Где ты? Попади, и он психует. Я тебе плачу, что ты был там с ним, сволочь.
We can assume the brother's just out snorting that money that he's getting paid.
How's your father?
You speak Russian now.
I know the word for father.
Now we've closed that space in between them. See, why y'all can't ever just sit down somewhere? Damn. There seems to be no end to the horniness. Also, I posted the first episode of Heated Rivalry on YouTube, and YouTube was like, age restricted, actually.
Nice.
And there he goes. Whenever he gets a bit closer, he runs. They both do.
Honey, have you decided about Wimbledon? I think they're worried their box is too Tennessee, I think.
Does that mean too white?
Work. Okay, so now we're getting a little bit of contention or rebelling against this sort of, okay.
We'll take this Chablis, please.
3 glasses? I'll have a ginger ale, please.
Oh, we don't have that. Sparkling water?
Sure, thank you.
Ginger ale.
I think a little trip to London next summer for Wimbledon, just the 3 of us, would be fun. You loved it when you were a kid.
You guys should go.
I love the father. I love his dad.
Sorry, I'm in a weird mood.
It's okay.
Get your ass to the Milan, baby. My buddy Francois, the chef, you remember him? The cast of the X Squad movie they're filming in town is here.
Actually, just a beer, please. Whatever you have on tap.
Shane Hollander, whatever he wants here.
Hold on. What's going on here? Something about this gets flirty.
Are you here to help me finish these fries?
Oh.
I'm Rose, by the way.
I'm Shane. I'm a big fan.
Would you be surprised to know that I'm a fan of yours?
So, are you gonna be in town a little while this time?
This is also very Canadian for there to be some type of Afrobeat soca music here, because a lot of Caribbean, Jamaican immigrants have, settled in Canada. They have a huge Caribbean population. So this tracks.
Roz, you gotta see this. You're gonna shit, man.
It's just like a huge fucking
messy.
How the fuck did he even meet her during the season?
She's shooting a film in Montreal.
How the fuck do you know that?
It says it right there.
Okay. This is so messy. While he's in this pose, it's crazy. Interesting. And I'm assuming now Ilya feels some type of way.
I need to get laid. Let's go out.
Where?
We're in Montreal. We find a fucking club. Tell people.
Oh, tattoo playing? Crazy. The music in the show is really good.
Hi, handsome.
Oh, God. Drama on the dance floor.
Come on, I never get to dance.
Okay, that is a lie.
Hey, I want to dance with Shane.
Yeah, that makes 2
Come on, smile.
Miles is me, low-key. Yep. Uh-huh. It's so funny that this song is playing during this. So he saw the teammate. Oh. Uh-oh. Is he about to have a threesome?
I
gotta go to the bathroom.
What? Y'all, what's tea? So that was episode 4 of Heated Rivalry, Rose. Now, a lot to go over, so let's just get into it. So we opened the episode obviously with seeing them balancing sort of being lovers but also rivals and sort of growing in their professions on their teams and sort of how they balance that. We saw Shane's teammate do what straight people often do and try to force women on you. And it's gonna be like, if you're open, it can be if you're closeted, it can be whatever. They're just like, well, I'm happy in my marriage and my relationship, you should be too. And it's just this weird thing of like, because I've been on the other end where Shane is right now, being sort of like not necessarily completely out, and the straight people around you being like, why are you not with anybody? It's like, okay, chill out. Why are you so concerned about what the fuck I'm doing? And if I'm telling you no thank you, like, let's sort of chill. That's always annoying too, especially, and also it becomes a different thing when you're gay too, because when you're gay, a lot of your straight friends are like, well, I know this other gay person, you want to be with them? And you're like, okay, do you want me to be with them because we have something in common or because we're both gay? I don't know why straight people in relationships don't like to see other people single. It's really weird. This episode also cemented to me why episode 3 was important, because it showed that little bit of domesticity between Shane and Ilya, directly contrasting Kip and Scott, or I guess really comparing, because they both sort of have these sweet moments away from everybody else, and then when they sort of go into the real world with other people, they're sort of met with the reality that this sort of sweet little thing that they got for themselves can't last long, right? Or you know, isn't sustainable as it is, right? So that was interesting. I think episode 3 really helped give us some more contrast, some nuance, some layers. I'm always pro. I'm gonna be team episode 3. I'm pro episode 3. And then so that sort of conversation when they were on the couch talking about sort of like, well, do you like girls? It's like, yeah. Do you? Yeah, I kind of do too. It kind of gives, now we're super early on, whatever, but Ilya gives bisexual. Shane also seems to give bisexual. I'm gonna just say that now, just for the sake of me making sense of it. But who knows? It could also be that sort of thing of where like a gay person is conflicted and they sort of like date and or sleep with women. I personally hate that for my girly pops out there who sort of are in the middle of this. It's not my favorite narrative device, but it happens. So, you know, there's some realism there. And then sort of when they were hooking up on the couch and they called each other finally by their first names, sort of showed us a little bit of closeness happening, but much like every moment when they start to get close, one of them starts to pull away. So in this instance, we see Shane sort of pulling away, which sort of makes sense why he would sort of then go on to date this actress and sleep with her and start a romantic sexual relationship with her. That makes sense. Then going to dinner with his parents, sort of rebelling and being like, God, all this sucks. Like, I don't want to do all this all the time. I kind of want to do what I want. And sort of being like, well, I can't date women because I'm doing this. And people being like, well, his parents being like, well, you know, that's fine. This is kind of what you're doing right now. This is who you are. And he's like, I guess it is. You know, therefore he goes out with friends and meets a woman because everybody's telling him to, like this friend in the beginning. Ilya is sleeping around with that one girl. He's like, yeah, I'll find a random girl. And he's like, well, I guess then I should too. Like, is that what I'm doing? But what we're seeing here and what I think is actually happening is we're seeing queer men figuring it out within the sort of oppressive professional sports of it all. And on Ilya's side, he's obviously dealing with his brother who he's paying to take care of his father, who I'm assuming has some sort of dementia, aphasia, some cognitive decline happening, as we saw with the medication and all that stuff, and the confusion with who everybody is. His brother's being paid to take care of him, but he's partying. I can only assume for what we saw in the pilot episode. So he's dealing with family stuff. He's also dealing with sort of losing to Shane's team, right? And sort of like dealing with that, not being the best. And we see Shane, who's like, okay, I like this guy who I don't really know where I stand with him. He's sort of sleeping with other people, being better than me and doing his whole thing. And I'm just kind of here sometimes. So he's sort of figuring that out, interestingly enough. I'm not a fan of when queer men are figuring it out, even though this is a part of the process. I'm not a fan of involving women because oftentimes women are the ones who get hurt when men sort of reach their perspective, or honestly, just if they never do, which sadly is the reality for so many, queer men. They're sort of in a one-sided loveless relationship, especially since if they don't know about the struggles. I don't like that, and I can only see this ending horribly if that's the case. I personally want Shane and Ilya together. I hate when there's this vibe of adding like straight women in it, because now he's sleeping with her. Everybody knows that he's with her. They're like, what is that going to be like? And Ilya is obviously jealous, like violently jealous. And we'll see in episode 5 if that is something that they talk about. I believe there's 6 or 8 episodes this season, which is just not enough. Wait, first of all, I'll ask this in a minute. Actually, hold on. I'll make a note to bring this up at the end, because this is tangentially related. But yeah, this episode was crazy. This episode was the horniest episode yet. And I'm just interested in seeing where this journey takes us for season 1, where it all ends. I know it's going to be a crazy cliffhanger. It has to be, right? With all these moving pieces. I'm not really down for Shane and Rose. They're vibing. They have great chemistry. I think like if Shane were strictly straight and not fucking this man on the low, great. But I don't know. I don't know that this is really what Shane wants. I don't know, but I can't believe that it is. And it's also just like not fair to her. Like, more importantly, it's not fair to Rose. And if Shane is bisexual, great. I'm okay with the conflict being he's in love with another person. That's not the worst. It's not great, but it's not the worst. Like, but if Shane is strictly dickly, like gay, level 6 Kinsey scale gay, and he's just sort of like in a loveless, sort of like farcical, false relationship with this woman, then that's fucking awful. They're both awful, but one is more awful than the other. But I guess we'll just have to see what happens. I definitely think communication is where these two boys are lacking. And just being honest, like I think that like a lot of what they're doing is just fucking. They're not really talking, and I think that's kind of the issue. And then Shane has his own fears, based in reality. I'm not saying that any of this is unwarranted, right? Like they're both terrified because of the positions that they're in, and that makes sense. But it would be something. There's something to be said about how if they were to come out with this, it would be probably earth-shattering. It'd be cunty for the people experiencing it, but for them, it wouldn't be the best. So I get that. I'm figuring out where Rose fits into all of this. I guess that'll be revealed as time goes on, because pretty soon she's going to get, the parents are going to probably meet her and love her, the teammates. She's going to become a WAG, wife and girlfriend of the team. So that'll be interesting. I don't really like closeted stories because they hit close to home for me personally. I just don't like watching queer people in peril in that way, or being miserable like that. But I've not read the book, so who knows? Maybe it has a happy ending. I don't know. But I'm here for the ride. I think the writing is good. I think the acting is great. I think the music is superb. And but Canadian television is always pretty good. I'm a fan of a lot of Canadian television and film. But I'm having such a fun time watching this show. I'm here for the mess because it's messy. And I don't know. I like how Rose's friend, Miles, who's me, by the way, was like kissing up on him and stuff. I was like, oh, is that going to be a thing, because Miles had eyes for Ilya too at the bar. So it's like, I mean, it sort of gives that thing of like they only have eyes for each other, which I think is very, very cute. But Ilya and Shane only have eyes for each other. I think that's cute. But who knows? I mean, this episode had a lot going on in it, and I think what I usually do with these episodes is that I watch it once, obviously for the reaction. I watch it while I'm editing it, and then I watch a couple of other reactors, react to it, just to see if our conversations are the same, or if that, like, what are they picking up on that I'm not, and vice versa. Last thing I want to say, when the hell is the Heartstopper movie coming out? Because wasn't that supposed to be this year? Wasn't that supposed to be this year, or was it supposed to be last year? It's supposed to be at some point. I gotta research it to see when it's gonna come out, because I want to see it. It's gonna be like almost 2 hours or something. It's gonna end the Heartstopper vibe. But who knows? With this Netflix Warner shit, who knows? I will be continuing Boots soon. You just have to give me a minute. This show sort of is, I want to catch up and get current with this show before I continue and finish Boots. So there's that. But that show, I will still be watching it. My friends have implored me to continue, so I will be continuing. If you were watching us on Patreon, thank you so much for the support. And how y'all liking these videos? Let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, full, unedited, early, and uncut reactions will be available on Patreon for you all, so consider subscribing. I think this is going to be all for me. I'm having so much fun watching the show. Hate how I have to wait weekly for it, but it just makes it fresh. I'm not looking at any trailers for the next episode. I'm not looking at any interviews, and I'm not looking at any spoilers before I react to it. So I'm going into these episodes very fresh, very new, and I'm happy that I'm doing that, because it lets me just enjoy the 40 some odd minutes of episode that I get weekly, and I'm a fan of that. Let me know what else you'd like me to react to in the comments below, and as always, I will see you all in the next one. Bye.